the norms for how we punish criminals, such as those in our society who murder children, even their own, have been completely white erased. I'll share with you a case from London, England, and it was January 27th, 1734, of Judith Defour. She murdered by strangulation her little daughter, 2 years old, Mary Defour. She had admitted to the crime. The body was found by a man who had lived nearby, and he heard the cries of the child that night around 7 p.m. She was confronted and arrested 3 days after the crime and admitted to it. Quote, she said that a vagabond creature had told her to do it. Judith Defour was part of the gin craze and was alcoholic. At that time, they didn't call it that. Maybe they would have thought she was crazy. Maybe they would have thought that something like that had occurred. But she then did admit that she strangled her infant daughter with a piece of linen after she had already removed the clothing and sold them earlier for money to become drunk, to get drunk. And she did. She was heavily intoxicated when she committed the crime. Nevertheless, Judith Defour was sentenced to death February 27th of 1734. She was executed publicly by hanging March 8th of 1734. And that is how we used to deal with that in Western civilization. And you might be saying, well, that was in England. But see, that's Western civilization. That's what white men, with the cooperation of women and children, created. This is when dominant white men were in charge. And as a upside to the Judith Defour case, that was when it became a very big issue in England at that time, particularly London, that legislation was passed and reform was passed to help these parents that were afflicted so badly with the gin at the time and the alcoholism that was running rampant, where only 1 in 5 white children, British children at that time, were making it to the age of 5. But I wanted to share that just because it really shows how far we've really fallen. Where now you have women, thousands of women on TikTok and social media, wanting not only for the husband to be charged